4 months after my wife and I celebrated our 10-year wedding anniversary, there was a fire in our apartment complex. I was at work when it started, and apparently my wife was sleeping until it became an emergency situation for her. She told me the smoke was fogging up the apartment really badly. By the time she woke up, she was conscious for a few minutes, attempting to breathe in fresh air from the fence or by cracking a window. The next thing she remembers is a firefighter carrying her to safety as she was being treated by the ambulance. He stayed by her side, taking off his helmet and staring into her eyes as he spoke to her. She was a beautiful woman. So it didn't surprise me that she received extra attention from the man that saved her. The part one did have a problem with was that their contact continued after this day while she was in the hospital. The firefighter gave her his phone number. We'll call him Edward for this recount of events before she was even discharged. She got WhatsApp on her phone and started texting him with updates about her health or even what she was up to each day. By reading the messages, you could tell he was smitten. She never mentioned being married. And I'm disappointed to say that it was only a matter of days before she started referring to him as her savior, expressing that she trusted him to protect her and sending him nudes while I was at work. She invited him over to where we were staying while the apartment building was repaired. We were staying with a traditional Catholic couple that would not support her affair. So she took care to plan his visits when no one would be home for hours. My wife didn't return to work after the fire because she had trouble breathing for a while after the accident. It was the perfect storm to end my marriage. I know my wife only developed feelings for Edward because he saved her from that fire. It was a near-death experience, and people can change. After those on the day, she was caught. I returned from work to find a shocking scene unfolding. The Catholic couple had just returned home from work to discover my wife and Edward making love on their living room couch. Talk about embarrassing and traumatizing for everyone involved. I started to shake as I approached all four of them arguing on the front lawn. The Catholic wife was yelling at Edward within inches from his face, asking if he had any morals at all or if he had any idea what was going on. He mostly shook his head, just wanting to get out of there. He quietly admitted he had no idea she was married and was under the impression that he was welcome to stop by for visits with her. I told him to leave, knowing my wife would have to be the one to explain herself. That's when the four of us sat in the living room to talk and my wife broke down. She admitted she had feelings for him and chose to start the affair. I started bawling. Of course, I didn't see any of this happening to us. Especially not after our happy 10-year anniversary celebration. I told her she would have to choose between me or Edward. She said she couldn't choose. That was the last straw for me. So I chose for her. The next morning I grabbed her phone while she was sleeping and went out. I was able to read through all the incriminating WhatsApp messages with the lawyer through this. We discovered that their emotional affair became physical as soon as my wife was discharged from the hospital. That was about 3.5 months that I was unknowingly sharing my wife. So I talked everything over with my lawyer and proceeded to kick her out for the time being while I got ready for the divorce. She then moved in with Edward. During that time, she was outcasted from the community we grew to be a part of over the past 10 years. It didn't seem to matter to her, and she became pregnant with her baby in just 3 months. After 9 months of them being together, he dumped her. Rumors I heard were that the baby wasn't his and she had cheated on him with someone else while 6 months pregnant. She searched for a place to stay or alive, but to no avail. Eventually she swallowed her pride and asked me to take her back. That notion made me laugh out loud. After I denied her, she had no choice but to stay in a shelter for women. I sold our apartment for more than expected and got used to the new single life. All of this was really hard to go through. But I do want people to know that life carries on anyway. I think the biggest lesson for me in all of this is to never take anything for granted, but also to never expect or demand anything. I go through life, longing for nothing but greatly receiving what's given to me. Sometimes my ex still reaches out to me and I'll respond to her, but it's mostly out of pity. She updates me on her situation periodically, and each time it seems like our qualities of life get farther and farther apart. I know she'll never reach the level of maturity I've had to reach after handling the emotional pain she dealt me. Wow, that was quite a twisted and emotionally draining experience. I am sorry you lost someone you love to an unexpected situation and intruder in life experiences like this. It's as if our character and what we're made of are tested. She showed you that 10 years of faithful marriage didn't mean as much to her as he did. This obviously proved to be a really stupid decision on her part. But even if he didn't leave her as fast as he did, it still would have been foolish for her to pick a stranger over her husband. Congratulations on handling yourself in the wisest way through a very difficult and life-altering situation. I wish you nothing but the best of luck going forward in life. Now, for today's second story, I am sorry for the length. First, some background. My wife and I are both 30 with no kids and come from a large family. Both her parents have 6 to 8 siblings. From this, she has many cousins and second cousins. The families have known each other for generations. So are close. The wife is very close to 7 or 8 women. In the last few years, there have been many marriages, including our own, and baby showers, some of which have legendary status. I will explain below. All these gatherings are huge productions and well attended. Last weekend was a Christmas gathering. The family rented out a venue to fit everyone. This gathering was her mother's side of the family. Eventually, after going around greeting everyone, the close cousins settle in with each other, and so the conversation came around to a bridal shower that happened last summer because the family is so big. They had 2 showers, one was hosted by the older parents, aunts and grandma. The other is hosted for the younger relatives. The cousins started reliving the shower with much laughter. The SOS were just sitting there smiling as we watched them. Enjoying the moment, one of the cousins started to start a story pointing at another but was hushed. There was an awkward moment with these looks between each other. Now the Voss are curious. Me included, we wanted to hear the story, but the subject was changed and any attempt to bring it up was shut down. I walked away to get some dessert and drinks as I was hanging out by the bar. Another of the S's came up to me. He asked if I really wanted to know what happened. Of course, I said yes. He took me outside. He pulled out his phone and swore me to secrecy. He had snooped on his wife's phone and found a short video of the shower. The young cousins and friends, about 20 to 25 people shower, had included strippers, think dancing bear type. The video shows the guys dancing naked with the women laughing and screaming. The video shows the stripper going down the line in front of each woman sitting on a bench along the wall. The video was shot from the end of the line. In profile is my wife. She is third in line just as the stripper moved to the next woman. There was a large roar and the video scanned across the room to the other stripper. Then you hear, "Turn that off." No videos. The video ends at the time I asked the wife about the shower. She said it was fun, but it was just a shower. She never went into detail. I dropped it at that time. Now with this news months later, I am not sure how to handle it. I can't tell her I saw the video without revealing how I saw it. Update. Here is an update to my post. The other day, I asked my wife what went on at the shower. She had first said it was just a shower. I told her I know more than just a shower took place. She looked at me for it seemed like an hour. She took a deep breath and then told me they had strippers. She actually seemed embarrassed. I asked how all that came about. She tells me that at previous showers, some of the games they played and conversations had increasingly become more raunchy. The older women did not like it and tried to shut it down. The younger relatives decided they would hold their own showers and the older relatives could have their more traditional showers. After that, the raunchiness got turned up a notch. Finally, a couple of years ago at a shower, a stripper was brought in. It was the typical dancer that did his act to the screams of the crowd. Then he left. Nothing happened with the crowd. It embarrassed the bride. The cousins and friends were really divided about it. When the cousin that was the ringleader got engaged, there was some payback. The strippers were hired knowing the type of show they put on and the participation it would generate. It did the trick as the bride to be hid in another room during the performance. I asked what kind of participation was there. She said the guys danced really close to some of the women, pulling some up to dance with them. I told her that I didn't have a problem with strippers at the shower. Then asked why she didn't tell me unless there was something more to it. She then got quiet. I let the silence hang in the air. She was waiting me out. I think I then said, I saw a video of the strippers. I asked if there was anything else against silence. Then she said some of the girls got carried away. I asked her to go on after hesitating. She admitted to what was on the video. After more silence, I told her I saw her at this point. She started crying and said, I swear, I didn't do anything. You have to believe me, ask my sister, as she cried more and more. I told her, I saw her sitting along the wall as the stripper worked his way down the line. She said, then, you know, my sister and I got up off the bench and got away from him. I told her the video didn't show that and that it cut away. I asked if her sister would confirm what she said. She said to call her. I video called her sister from the wife's phone. She was in shock when I told her why I was calling. The sister verified what the wife had said. So I am believing what happened. I did tell the sister to tell her husband because this is going to get out. Now I am dealing with my wife who is mad that I assume she cheated. But at the same time as shame, she never told me we have some work to do. Her silence speaks volumes here. She was actively hiding what happened because she knew it was wrong. There is a serious lack of honesty from her here, and while it appears she didn't do anything inappropriate, you had to pry the information from her in an escalating fashion. I'm sorry to tell you this. But this marriage is over. There's nothing left to work on. The damage has already been done. I truly hope for your sake that her sister is telling the truth on what happened. And isn't trying to cover up for her in any way. Anyways, please keep us posted on what happens. I'm curious to hear about the aftermath of this. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel if you aren't already so you can hear what does next. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to today's stories. Don't forget to like and comment below with your thoughts on what happened.